welcome to my 20-week pregnancy update, which is a really weird thing to say out because I'm officially halfway through. All I have to do now is the time again and I'm gonna have a baby. I feel like it's only when you get to this stage, if you've been like me, that I just don't feel like it's been very real. It's very, very weird, despite the fact we've built the cot, we've got some furnishings, you know, we've got little outfits, all things like this. For me, it's just not like 100% real, but something clicked this week that made it just feel like, oh my god, this is happening, like this is real life, which is fantastic because I've been waiting for that feeling to like really sink in a little bit, and I'll be finding out the gender in one more week. But I did have my 20-week scan, which is all very, very exciting. So I thought I would show you this scan photo because it's so funny. Like, I will just show you. So that is baby's head here and body. It's got its arms like behind its head, like it's chilling out. But how freaky does that look? I just think it looks a bit like an alien, I'm gonna be honest. And I can say that because it's my baby, so I thought I would talk about the scan, seeing as I've just shown you the scan photo, and obviously you're probably watching this video to find out a little bit more, what to expect and things like that. So obviously in week 20, if you're in the UK at least, they do like an anatomy scan, and I think that you can have it anytime between 18 to 20 weeks, but I had mine on 20 weeks and 1 day. And basically they check to make sure all of the organs, all things like that are developing as they should. They take measurements and they really do go in on everything and make sure that everything is as it should be, because this will help detect any early problems, any development issues and things like that. So before I went to scan, I think I mentioned this in last week's video, I was actually really nervous because I feel like you're so unaware. I had a scan, 8 weeks ago now, and so much can change in that time, and I don't know, I just had this really like horrible feeling that we were going to go and something wasn't going to be right, which thank goodness everything is perfect, which, I'm just so fortunate for. I do not take it for granted at all, and I'm just so relieved. But I was so nervous going into the scan because I just thought, if something's wrong, like it's not growing properly inside of me, and it was just, I don't know, I think there's just a lot of pressure. So yeah, going into scan was really weird because this time they really go in on everything, and I found that like when you have your first scan you're like, oh my god, it's a baby, and you're just so overwhelmed with the fact that you can see this little baby that's inside of you even though you're not showing, and it's very, very weird. But when it comes to your 20-week scan, you know that it's there, but they was going in on everything and just making sure that everything kind of was measuring okay. But as they were doing that, literally throughout most of the scan, I couldn't tell what they were looking at. They were explaining it to me. The only thing I could tell was the heart because it had 4 chambers. And they were saying, oh, like, this is the kidney, I'm looking at the stomach now, this is the brain. But for me, it was really weird because it just looked like blobs on the screen and I just really couldn't tell what anything was, which was really weird. Like, I'm just amazed by the fact that they can measure things and like they know what things are. I know it's their job and stuff like that, but it was just really weird. Like, you're just looking at the screen just thinking, everything looks the same and I don't really know what they're looking at. So it was a really weird experience. Very different to the 12-week scan I found. You're in there for a little bit longer, at least I was, because they're measuring so much. I think you're in there for about a good half an hour, like minimum, which is good because you get to see baby quite a lot. And if you're not a high-risk pregnancy, this could be the last time that you see your baby unless they order another scan kind of later on, which is very weird. It's very weird to think that that's the last time I'll see the baby until it's out. But yeah, so they were kind of measuring everything. Thank goodness everything was great. I didn't realise they checked for cleft lips as well, which is fab. I know someone that had a baby with a cleft lip, and, it was great to know that, our baby doesn't. And yeah, it was really, really good news, and I shouldn't have been as worried as I was, but there's just something about scans that just make you feel a little bit like on edge. I don't know. But like I said, this is probably going to be my last scan unless something happens and I need another one later down the line. But if, obviously, touch wood, nothing does, then that could be the last time I see the baby, which is just so weird, so weird. And as part of that scan, they can tell you the gender. Now, I've mentioned this before, and if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, we're doing a gender reveal party, so I haven't actually been told the gender. I don't know the gender at this stage. I am so unaware. The only person that knows is the sonographer, because obviously he was checking. When I went in for the scan, baby had their legs crossed, and I was like, don't you dare, like, don't you dare have your legs crossed. So I got up, I jumped around, I did like star jumps, I like jogged on the spot, and I got those legs uncrossed because I thought people have booked the day off and you forget that they can have their legs crossed. And so I was determined to get their legs uncrossed, which thank goodness they did. So the legs were uncrossed, and when it came to kind of checking the gender for us, we asked, because they said as soon as you went in, did you want to know the gender? So we basically said yes, would you mind though writing it down, because we want to find out with our friends and family, and it's just better if we don't know. So I actually had a guy sonographer, and he was like, yep, no problem. So he wrote it down and he put it in an envelope, and he sellotaped the envelope so I couldn't even look, which was torture, because I thought, you know what, if it was like kind of just like put down, I think I would have to have had a peek, because I just want to know so bad. But I haven't done so. It was sellotaped. You know he's done this before. So yeah, so gender is currently in an envelope. They obviously tell you as part of the scan when they're looking for gender that they're not 100% accurate. And for me, that just fills me with anxiety, because I'm like, what if we buy all these things and it's like, it's not that gender? So when they were looking at the gender, obviously we wasn't looking at the screen. He said, right, I'm going to have a little look now, look at each other. And I literally, the screen was in front of me and I had to block it off. So I was looking at Rich, Rich was looking at me, and we couldn't look at all, which was so hard. And he was looking for a good like 10-15 minutes to make sure. So I was just like, oh my God, I could just like look now and hopefully like ruin it. But obviously I didn't. I always thought though, surely if it was a boy and they saw like a little willy, they'd be 100% sure, because surely that's there. But someone I know who is also pregnant and expecting a boy was told the same thing, that they can't be 100% accurate. And I think that's because as part of the NHS scans, they don't offer like they don't tell you the gender as like part of the scan. Like they can do and they do, but that's not what the scan is. So I think they do that to cover themselves. So I had this theory that it must be a girl, because if they're not like 100% sure, then they obviously haven't seen anything. And you know, I guess if it's a girl, it hasn't got a little willy, but then they could have just missed it and it could still be a boy. But if it was a boy and you saw it, surely it couldn't be a girl. But turns out that's just everything that they say to everyone, which, you know, I was like, anything he said, I was like digesting and like trying to think of a theory behind it, but they just they say that to everyone. So the gender's in the scan. We're doing the gender reveal in a week's time, just over. So it'll be the 4th of August, which obviously these videos are going out a little bit later than I film them, because I want to stagger videos so that when the baby's born, I've got a couple of weeks just to enjoy and don't feel like I need to kind of do anything. But I'm really excited to have the gender reveal. I'll obviously be filming segments of that and putting it in the video, and obviously show you what the gender will be. So that'll be my next video, which is really exciting. I really can't wait. And I think going by what I mentioned about it not feeling like 100% real, knowing the gender will definitely do that for me. I think as soon as I know what the gender is, we'll have a name, we'll start visualising things, and for me that would just make it like 100% real. So that day cannot come soon enough. Sorry about the lighting as well. We've been having loads of sun and then there's loads of clouds and it keeps going in and out, and I just give up trying to like work this situation. So we're just having to deal with this. Other things that have happened during 20 weeks. Someone else at work, their wife is also pregnant, which is so funny because no one at work whilst I've been there other than a director has been pregnant. Whereas now there's like 3 of us expecting. So my friend Abby is due in November, I'm due in December, and then Jameson's wife is due in January. So each like monthly newsletter there's been one of us I mentioned. We keep making a joke about who's going to be next, but it's getting to a point where it's like everyone's getting pregnant, and like people are saying that there's something in the water and things like that, which is just so weird because you just think, I don't know, it's just so weird that like everyone's kind of expecting very, very close together. So that happened this week. I mentioned last week that I only threw up once, and I was really hoping that this was a sign of things that were beginning to deteriorate. I suffered really bad morning sickness from the second trimester, I guess, throughout. And it began to die down a bit, and again in my 20th week I was like, come on, please be the end. And on the 4th day of my 20 week, I literally threw up the worst I have ever thrown up, which was horrendous. I just literally couldn't stop, and it was just, oh, I felt horrible all day. I just felt like, you know, it's not nice being sick, but it just makes you feel so groggy for the rest of the day, especially if, like, happening in the morning. I really thought that I was so overconfident in my first trimester that I wasn't going to get morning sickness, and my God, I've compensated for that. And yeah, it was just the worst that I've ever felt, and it was the worst that I've ever been sick. So I'm just like, I just don't know whether it's getting better or getting worse. It's so annoying. So I'm going to just keep you guys updated. Let me know if you've got any remedies for morning sickness, because I'm so desperate. I literally cannot deal with it. It just makes me feel like absolutely shit all day. So any like help would be great. I normally throw up about 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's literally the same time like every day. It's like horrendous. So yeah, let me know any tips and tricks. I've continued to feel the baby move quite a lot this week, and it's just such a weird feeling. It's like a muscle twitch, or like, you know, it's just a weird fluid movement, and it's just so weird. Like, I just can't explain it, and I didn't know what it was until I realised what it was, and then now I just feel it all the time. I honestly must feel baby move about 3-4 times a day, sitting at my desk at work, laying on the sofa at home watching a film, laying in bed, waking up of a morning. It's very active, so it's just, yeah, really weird. But so far it's not waking me up in the night, and I'm not having to pee throughout the night, which I'm very thankful for, but I'm sure that's going to change as it grows bigger and bigger. And this week it has been the size of a mango, which is beginning to get really big. So then it's mango, and next week it's like cantaloupe melon, so it's beginning to get bigger and bigger very quickly. And I feel like a mango is so substantial that it's only time that it's going to start pushing on my bladder, and I'm going to get worse and worse going to the toilet. And there's one other really exciting thing from this week, and as I mentioned, the baby's been moving quite a lot. And when I was laying on the sofa, it was just like very, like, I could feel it loads. And I said to Rich, come on, like, see if you can feel it. And he put his arm, but I have to literally put my arm like that across my belly, like to cover the whole thing, because I don't know where the movement is going to be, because it's not always in the same place all the time, obviously, because it's like arms and legs and things. So Rich did that, and he had his arm like resting across my whole belly, and then he felt it move. And for me, that was such a lovely moment, because I've been telling him that I've been feeling it move, and I felt, you know, I've heard the heartbeat, and I feel like men can get a little bit excluded from it, and I think that they don't obviously experience as much as we do. So for him to feel the baby move, he just suddenly feels like he's experienced it, and that's really special to me. And yeah, like I said, I just feel like men, you know, we complain that we have to do all the hard work, but I feel like they kind of wish they had a little bit more, because nothing changes for them except we get a little bit bigger and moodier and restless, and, you know, we are growing a baby, but for them they're not, they're just waiting for us to deliver the baby. So yeah, that was really lovely, and it was just such a nice feeling. And he was like, oh my God, I felt it. And then he kept feeling it because it was being really wriggly, and yeah, that was so nice. It was so lovely. But yeah, I will show you my bump as well before I finish off this video. So this is my 20-week bump. I'm getting so big now. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's quite substantial, and it's just getting bigger and bigger as the weeks go on. Like, I'm noticing it so much, and it's getting like a bit harder. It's not as squidgy as it was. It's still a little bit, but it's not like rock hard, but it's not like super soft like it was. So yeah, there's like a baby in there. It's so crazy. So that's it for this week's video. Let me know how your 20-week scan has gone, and let me know if you found out the gender as well. I love hearing what everyone is expecting. I don't know what to expect. Like, I just don't know. It's so hard, and so many people are asking me, like, what do you want it to be? And I feel like that question is so hard because I don't know what it is, and there's no way to know. So I don't want to answer the question and then like it be a different gender and people presume I'm disappointed, because like either way I'm so thankful for this baby and I cannot wait for it to come. But yeah, I just don't know. So I'm really excited to fill you in on my next week's update, which I will know the gender. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. And yeah. Oh my god, so exciting. So exciting. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you did. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoy my pregnancy update, and I'll see you guys soon for another video. Bye guys.